Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Oh, the Illblurmatic.
Welcome back to Illblurmatic, and today's review is going to be on Squid Game, one of the biggest Netflix shows out right now. If you haven't seen it, what are you waiting for? Let's get right into it. So this show starts off in a very interesting fashion. It's like in black and white. And pretty much we see some kids playing this game called Squid Game. So I'm assuming from the beginning, this is kind of like the main character and his friends, that play Squid Game. Just a speculation. I'm not really for sure about this, but this is what I got from it. But also we are introduced to the main character of the series, and let's talk about the main character series. Main character series is called, his name is Keon. Keon is an unsuccessful businessman, 2 failed business attempts, unsuccessful marriage. He has a kid. He's got all these dead-end jobs that his mother is tired of him getting. And we can see that Keon loves his mother dearly. You know what I'm saying? I can respect that about Keon. I like that about his character. I just don't like the carefreeness about him. He's too carefree for me. and irresponsible, you know. But Keon, I like that he's a risk taker too, by the way. That's the other thing I like about his character. He's a risk taker, and so am I. I'm not gonna lie. And that's the thing I like about Keon. There are some things I didn't like about Keon's character. And what I can say about Keon, pretty much, he loves his mother dearly. But they don't see eye to eye with one another. You know what I'm saying? He loves his mother, but they don't see eye to eye. And she knows that Keon is greedy. Greedy, what do I mean by greedy? Keon is money hungry, you know what I'm saying? He will do anything for money. Whatever it takes to make some money or take money from other people. And we see Keon pretty much go to the ATM with her card, and he tries to figure out what is the pin that pretty much that she has. He eventually finds out that she changed it to something else that was significant to her. And Keon goes and takes the money and uses it to do things that he shouldn't be using it for. He's going to the arcade using the money. He's gambling with the money. He's also his daughter's birthday, and his mother mentioned that it's his daughter's birthday. You might want to do something nice for her. He ends up going to the arcade to do that. So he does appreciate his daughter, you know, so that's something I do like about Keon. Also we see Keon eventually, you know, them doing something together, him and his daughter. But he was irresponsible. You know what I'm saying? He buying his daughter a toy gun which is like a lighter. I was like, she about 5, 4, 6 years old. She was like in that age range. You buying a toy gun that's a lighter? Bro, you tripping, okay? So we also see Keon in this episode have other issues. He owes these street guys that they really want him dead. I guess maybe he used to be affiliated with them at some point, and he got his freedom, you know what I'm saying, from them. But he owes them money, you know what I'm saying? So Keon's already dug himself a hole. He owes them money. He's not able to keep a job, you know what I'm saying? He keeps getting these dead-end jobs, that are not really help to keep the house up because it's just only him and his mother. But also in this episode, we see that pretty much Keon coming across his game, okay? He couldn't at first get the hang of the game. He eventually does. And he's given another opportunity to make some money, and also to participate in this other game. So Keon gets the card from this man that pretty much that's telling him about this. And Keon eventually decides to get the number a call. It has like PlayStation icon number thing on it. But the thing is with Keon doesn't realize that, yes, you can participate in part of the game, but that comes with a price too. You know what I'm saying? Everyone signed a contract while participating in the game, you know what I'm saying? So with this, when you think about it, is that they took their own lives, you know what I'm saying, their own freedom. But we see that Keon eventually gets a part of the game. They come and pick up the people. They put them to sleep, and Keon ends up in this industrial complex that pretty much has beds and everything else inside of it. But when Keon gets there, he comes across a few people. One of the people is his buddy Sam Woo, which is the polar opposite of Keon. He was a successful businessman. He had everything going for himself. You know what I'm saying? Keon would come and visit his mother every now and then. Also that everyone in the facility that were put to sleep have numbers. So we have from 1 to 457. Number 1 is another character that's introduced in this show. Number 1 is an older gentleman. He seems to be very wise. He said he's about to have, he's definitely not in his best, performance ever because he's getting older. You know what I'm saying? He's starting to lose his memory and everything. So, he's starting to become, I guess, a burden on his family. That's his reason for being there. You know what I'm saying? Also, we see Sam Woo, you know what I'm saying? Also in the pickpocketer, and also someone that was affiliated with the pickpocketer that is kind of a thug, okay? And the thing is, we see these characters come across one another, and also with Keon pretty much trying to stop the thug from pretty much doing something to the pickpocketer because they have some personal beef from prior to this facility that they're at. Also, we're introduced to the people that are the, I guess you could say, the attendees of this facility, and pretty much what they do, and their announcers too, and what festivities are going to take place in this facility, which I really did like about the show. Also, there are other games, you know what I'm saying? They have tug of war, there's a marble game. But let's talk about the very first game. The first game was pretty much red light, green light, but it was with a twist. You had to pretty much stay in position at stop when it said green and you was red, and you were still running. You were liable to die. Like this game, they signed a contract. They didn't realize the contract had already been signed. But the thing is, people died left and right. Pretty much, the little girl, robot, whatever she was, she had a Gatling gun. She was shooting, left and right people, you know what I'm saying? Whoever did not follow the rules. The plot twist, they had to go back to where they came from to exit the game in order to win this game. So red light, green light with a plot twist. Same thing with tug of war. If you pretty much pull the other person, and they were teams in there. So there's some team dynamics and some stuff they had to do solo in this show, which really worked. But let's talk about the mid part of the show, or maybe towards the end of the show right now. So pretty much towards the mid half, we see that number 1 is no longer with Keon. Kind of sucked, man. I really liked their relationship. He was like a father figure to Keon inside this industrial complex. But I knew he wasn't going to last. You know what I'm saying? He started to have other issues, remembering things and stuff, especially with the marble game. That was the last of him then. But it was like, something's up. I don't know. I always had speculation of number 1. But that was something that was very interesting. I'm still like, wow, you're going to find out. You're going to find out soon. But also towards the end, we see the remaining contestants is pretty much, is Sam Woo, Keon, and the pickpocketer young lady. And the thing is, with them being the last contestants, it was very interesting. We see them being the last final 3 contestants of the Squid Game. Number 1's no longer around. Keon is number 457. And the other contestants, they are there having a festivity. They bring them food to eat. Keon's other person that he started to connect with, the pickpocketer, she seems to be already hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because she did not eat at all. Sang-woo, I think Sang-woo noticed it. Sang-woo started to become a little bit more aggressive towards the end of the series. Keon started to grow a backbone and not be so carefree. I really like that about his character change or character development. And we see towards the end that also pretty much the money, I forgot to mention, they're all there to win the money. You know what I'm saying? All the players that died before, pretty much that money was inside this big huge piggy bank that they had. And the thing is, towards the end, Sang-woo pretty much got old girl out the way that was the pickpocketer, but I still got this funny feeling that she's not dead. She's not. I'm telling you, I you know, all the other characters, they announced that they had died, but shockingly they didn't announce that. So I'm like, something is up with that. So that's the thing. So now we're left with Keon and Sang-woo, and what I like about this is we get a chance to see Keon and Sang-woo kind of do their thing. And the thing is, the last game was the Squid Game, which is something that we don't have in America. I noticed that. It's an offense and defense game, and it's brutal because with this, it's a twist. Someone has to die. And we see Sang-woo. Sang-woo wasn't holding back on Keon. Even though that was his friend before the game, he was not holding back. I said, boy, oh boy, Sang-woo don't play Keon. Keon was hanging in there. But at the very end, we saw the regret, the doubt, the hate of Sang-woo. Sang-woo couldn't kill Keon. So Keon did the unthinkable. He killed his friend. He won the money. But the aftermath, let's talk about the ending, the last part of this series, is literally towards the end of the series. We see Keon in a different space mentally. You know what I'm saying? He comes back home. His mother is dead. And I think it was a sense of emptiness in Keon, you know, not to have someone that he really cared about. Because his daughter is in America. I forgot to mention, she ends up going to America to live in America. And his mother, he has no one to argue with now. You know what I'm saying? He's there by himself. He hadn't even used the prize money at first. You know what I'm saying? It seems like Keon just didn't want to use the money. But one thing I can say about Keon kept his word with the two players, Sang-woo and the pickpocketer chick, pretty much. And what happens is, he goes to visit her brother. He does what she asked, pretty much. Keon also visits Sang-woo's mother, and pretty much he gives the pickpocketer's little brother, a chance to have someone to take care of him. Because to me, honestly, I think she's still alive. It's still, to me, something's up with it. Also, what shocked me was the other part of this ending. Keon comes across the old man again. Number one, surprisingly, was still alive. I knew something was kind of very odd about him. I was like, he having too much fun. He is having too much fun. Like, my man was living his best life in that complex facility. You know what I'm saying? Industrial complex facility. I'm like, oh boy. And the thing is, Keon finds out that the old man is the creator of these games. And the reason why he did it, because he had acquired so much wealth, pretty much. And he pretty much he lost his friends. I guess when he started to become someone that was in the, you know, bracket of a successful person that has their own business, he lost his friends. So the games were pretty much his way of having a nostalgic moments, like having people to play with and everything. And I was like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? And Keon, you know what I'm saying, his last goodbye to the old man, because the old man is on his deathbed. But after that, we see the old man's older son, pretty much. I don't think Keon knew that he was there. And him paying his respects to his father. But also towards the end of this, we see Keon come across the guy that he played that game with, that he signed that contract with, and pretty much he wanted back in. Also, Keon has a new look. He has a more interesting look to him now. It's a little bit more, I guess you could say, on the adventurous side. Dyed his hair, has a new haircut, and pretty much he wants back into the game. Pretty much, he's like, yo, you know, I want to be back into this game. They're like, sorry, man, you can't come back into this game. That's not how it works. And Keon's at the airport pretty much deciding, does he want to go see his daughter in America, or does he want to get into the game? And that's where it leaves off. And I gotta say, this show was very interesting. It shows you the problems with capitalism. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much survival of the fittest, you know what I'm saying? In order to survive, you gotta do whatever it takes. But also just the problem with contracts. Each of these players signed a contract. Some were able to get away by the voting system, so there was some democracy in it. But this show blew me away on Netflix. Like, I mean, when I seen this show, I was like, okay, this is interesting. You know what I'm saying? Characters are dying. Can't get too attached to certain characters because characters gonna eventually die. But I gotta give this show, I gotta give it a solid 5. Like, Netflix really, did something that was very interesting. Horror, dystopia, drama, and for it to be a Korean show, my God, like, the English dub really worked for this show. I did not watch it in Korean, but I really did enjoy the show. I also have heard that they're going to do a season 2 for this. I cannot wait. Netflix, please don't wait 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years for no season 2. Give us a season 2 at least in 2 years, man. Because I've seen some shows and they're like, oh yeah, it's returning, and it still hasn't returned. But this is your boy Ill Blurred Matic. Have you seen the highly anticipated show Squid Game? Or are you gonna go see it on Netflix? You tell me in the comments. Until next time, guys, take care, and I'm out.